Ultimately, football is all about blocking and tackling. And the team that blocks and tackles the best typically is going to win on a Friday night. And we feel like the higher an individual's truck stick number is, the better football player that they're going to be.
Today's episode is our Champions Series presented by Signature Championship Rings. If you want a championship in 2024, you'll want to give them a call. Every coach we've talked to has been thoroughly satisfied with the quality, price, and service of Signature Championship Rings. I've had a ring sent to me by Signature Championship Rings with our logo on it. I can tell you that it looks great, feels great, and outstanding quality. And my son actually received a championship ring from Summer Ball this year in the New York Perfect Game League. And Signature Championship Rings was the one who made that. Again, he was really happy with how it turned out. Just a great look and feel to all these and great price and service. Contact Signature Championship Rings. The link is in the show notes. We continue to spotlight champions from 2024 and their ideas that have made a difference in propelling them to a state championship. And I had the opportunity to attend Track Football Consortium in Chicago this past weekend, and I can say that sprint-based football is a movement that you'll want to pay attention to. It's a big part of our guest program in Stewartville, Minnesota, and we'll be taking a deep dive into sprint-based football with Tony Holler, creator of Feed the Cats, Track Football Consortium, and sprint-based football, beginning soon with his series on the Coach and Coordinator podcast. I want to share a metric of truck stick via Garrett Mueller, who previously appeared on our Champions Series. I heard him speak about this at the clinic this past weekend, and I think it's a metric you will want to be a part of your off-season development. It's such a telling number that it's been adopted by Titan Sensors as part of the analytics that they provide. This is a segment from Coach Mueller's presentation at Track Football Consortium in 2022. Stewartville has now won back-to-back state championships in Minnesota in 2023 and 2024. Let's take a listen to Coach Mueller sharing his information on truck stick.
All right, so this is the kind of the big one for us here. And this is our new metric that we just started tracking here before the 2021 season. And I think it's, a great kind of leveling tool to track not only just velocity and speed, but how fast are you based on size, body weight, an individual's mass. So it's our metric to measure a player's momentum or the energy that they can generate to deliver into opponent on game day. And so again, when we talk about what is, a really good identifier for what is going to create a successful football player, we believe this truck stick number is a great transfer to success on the football field. Ultimately, football is all about blocking and tackling. And the team that blocks and tackles the best typically is going to win on a Friday night. And we feel like the higher an individual's truck stick number is, the better football player that they're going to be. So our truck stick is kind of the term that we coined for this, kind of a throwback to the old Madden truck stick. Basically, what kind of momentum can you throw into another player to create that big block, that big tackle or big hit. And so ultimately we're measuring the momentum that an individual can generate, which is the quantity of motion of a moving body measured as a product of its mass and its velocity. So we feel, again, it's just a great metric to track, the marriage of size and speed in football, which both, in my opinion, are important and has really become the number one metric. Like I said, we emphasize because of its transfer to performance on the football field. We want to generate as much momentum as we can to deliver force into another guy on the opposing team on a football field. So we got to also develop qualities that allow us to deliver that force appropriately, which is important. We can't just be moving full speed fast and be a big dude in one direction and not be able to be under control. So, we also are going to focus on, those qualities like brakes, eccentric training to be able to stop, start, change of direction, agility, all those kinds of things allow us to deliver that momentum out on the football field appropriately. But ultimately, that momentum number that guys can generate, again, we feel is the most impactful thing that they can do to help improve them and themselves as a football player. So again, that's part of our record ring, publish that image there. We have our max velocity, our fly 10 number on there, but ultimately those guys are ranked by their momentum. And so at the top of there, it'll again kind of level out the playing field. We'll have a mix of, offensive linemen, big skill guys like linebackers, running backs, and then our smaller skill guys, wide receivers, defensive backs, quarterbacks. And so we've also now, over the course of a season, been able to take this data and these numbers and look at kind of thresholds for performance. And so what does it take to be an impact varsity player? And so based on, some of those numbers that our guys were able to generate, we've been able to identify that, a number for an offense or defensive lineman, we feel like if you can hit 700 or higher, you can be an impact player for us at the varsity level, whether that be a starter or someone that is playing significant minutes to help us win football games. At that big skill position group, running backs, linebackers, tight ends, we're looking for them to be over 650. And that small skill, wide receiver, DB, quarterbacks, anything over 600. If you want to be an elite all-conference player, kind of our metric is add about 100 points to that number then. Best of the best. Offense, defensive line, you got to be over 800. This year, best on our team was 857. That was the top for all position groups. You can see him pictured there. Number 52, his name is Caden King, was an all-conference offensive lineman for us, one of the most dominant guys in our district at that position. That's a picture of him. We got to hand him a short touchdown there on senior night this year. So he was pretty pumped that he had one carry for 2 yards and a touchdown this year. So he definitely earned that opportunity. But then for our big skill, anything over 750, our best this year was running back for us. All conference running back was 757. And then at that small skill spot, anything over 700, we feel puts them up in that kind of that elite category. We kind of had a freak this year as a wide receiver. We had a 6'3", 200-pound kid that could run a 4.5. So, he topped out at 829, which was pretty remarkable. I don't know that we'll have too many guys playing that position that'll get up to that number. But just kind of as a visual, then going back to that ranking that I showed before, you can anyone that has that arrow pointed towards them, there was an all-conference pick for us this year. So 7 of our top 11 in our truck stick rankings were all conference selections this year. And so we feel really good about saying that, the higher of that truck stick number that a kid can develop, the more impactful they're going to be on a football field for us on a Friday night. And so it's a great metric for us that we'll continue to emphasize here now through our off season and really be the number one thing that we look at developing for our guys in terms of transfer on the field to being a better football player.
Congratulations to Coach Mueller, his staff, and team on their 2024 state championship. Remember to give Signature Championship Rings a call to commemorate your own state championship. The link is in the show notes. Follow all we're doing at coachandcoordinator.com. New for 2025, and a peek at that now are our enhanced show notes. So I will put extra information about the truck stick, how it's calculated, and a video from Coach Mueller presenting this part of his clinic in our show notes on coachandcoordinator.com. Follow us on X at Coach K. Grabowski.